you know how people are. Like people are like, no, I'm a Deegan, I'm a Jett, I'm Tomac. So it's like you're gonna have everyone talking crap against each other on this app and wanting to place wagers. Like, oh, well, you think your guy's so bad? I'll take this wager.
Yeah.
You know?
So you'll be able to wager pretty much against as many people as you would like. We did implement a cool feature this year where you can cross bet. So for example, at A1, if you had to put your money up, who finishes higher, Deegan or Jett?
I'm going Jett.
You're going Jett?
100%. Well, if they're in the same class.
No. But we've set it up to where you can actually place that bet. They don't need to be in the same.
It
don't matter if you're a
lights?
450 or 250. So we're switching it up and allowing people to go, okay.
It's just more options.
It's just more options.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
I would tell you right now, I'll take that bet. I think Jett's got some things that he's still figuring out. And I think Deegan's going to be absolutely unstoppable. So I'd be willing to go on there and say, I'll take $100 that Deegan finishes higher position than Jett at A1.
I think Bear's going to have a problem with that one.
Yeah, that's never going to happen.
No. And I'm a Jett fan. Don't get me wrong.
Jett is the fastest racer to ever ride on two wheels.
But I see where you're coming from, hearing all the things from the off season with bikes and testing and all that. So,
and the thing we found really interesting is the people that genuinely follow the sport, you'll see some crazy wagers and you're going, okay, well, what do they know that I don't know?
Yeah, right.
For example,
Insider trading.
A little insider trading. I'm curious to see when we get some mechanics and dudes at the test track, then you start looking at wagers and going, huh, that's interesting. What happened there?
Yeah.
I'm taking Mookie to beat Eli at round one.
Yep.
I think he's got the Husky figured out.
Dude, he rode so good the last few races overseas. He rode
good overseas, and I think he's going to come into A1 and put a smacking on Eli. I've gotten some pushback on the app about that, but I'm sticking to it.
I think this year's going to be gnarly with how many dudes you have in the 450 class, how many dudes you have in the lights class, Deegan moving up for outdoors. So it's like there's going to be a lot of good wagering going on this year because a lot of people are diehard to their guy, you know?
Yeah.
I look at like the global sports market of betting and wagering and the way people operate, and it's like a $110 billion industry. By 2035, it'll be a $300 billion industry.
Yeah.
And the market is set up where it's growing at a rapid rate because people are being able to wager and being able to talk about things they have passion for while having a little bit of competitive advantage. I think it makes viewing a sport or a game a lot more exciting, right? What made you originally come up with this idea where you're sitting there saying, okay, I want to be able to take kind of the house out of the equation and let the peer-to-peer wagering kind of stand still on its own as the business endeavor? Because this is a first of its kind where people are betting and wagering and operating amongst each other without a house being involved because they're not setting lines. There's no kind of rake. There's no system where the house comes in and kind of deviates what the bet is or the wager. So
the first initial kind of outside of my daughter was we would go on YouTube together and we'd watch some of the UFC stuff where they live streamed it on YouTube, like where they'd blur out the content, but you could watch the chat kind of scrolling down. And I'm looking at it and there's a million people in the chat going, hey, so-and-so, I'll bet you $100, for example, Connor wins the fight. Guy later on down the chat goes, great, I'll take that bet. I'll Zell you afterwards.
Yeah.
Well, you and I both know if I lose $100 in a chat room, all I'm going to do is close out YouTube.
And I don't know you.
So I'm looking at it to my daughter and I go, well, what if we did have something that was active in real time like that, where when you make that statement, hey, I'll bet you $100, you can just send the guy the wager, engage in the wager instantly and create an environment where people are just able to wager against each other. Going back to the profitability of the, potentially being a $300 billion industry. Well, they don't make $300 billion off of winners. They build $300 billion off of losers.
Yeah.
And so I think another aspect is looking at what's going on in sports in general. They're kind of exposing the point shaving and all the things that go on in professional sports. Well, it's all tied into wagering. Professional sports and wagering go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And so it's a corruption. It's a scam, just like a lot of things in life. And I told my daughter, let's just create something where the genuine true fan can just bet against another fan and that we have no stake in the outcome. Yep. I just want to play at a cool platform.
You can't dictate what's going to happen.
And look, if I want to be the bookie, the guy that goes, hey, I'll give you plus 500 on O'Malley. Okay, I can play banker on bets on. I'll put my 500 up against your 50 and give you 10 to 1 odds if I'm that convinced that, for example, O'Malley's going to win the fight. So I'm just giving the public the ability to be their own bookie, to create their own destiny, as opposed to, put their money in where then the odds are skewed.